welcome back. It's me again, Anushka. I hope you all are doing really well. So today I'm going to be doing a video all about eyeshadows for everyone who are quite beginner This video is for everyone who is a beginner with eyeshadows, and I'm just going to teach you like the basic kind of pretty eyeshadow look, and I'm going to also talk about brushes as well. Just roughly, because to be honest, most of my brushes are quite affordable and don't have specific names. So yeah, we'll just jump straight onto it, and I hope you guys will find this video helpful. But before I go, I forgot to do my post notification shout out. Today's one goes to Arifa. Thank you so much for your sweet comment, hun. If you guys want to get one next time, all you have to do is subscribe, press the bell button, and then comment in the comments below when you have done so. And yeah. Okay, so I think it's important for me to be up close for this video. What I do want to say is though, every time I put eyeshadow, I put a full coverage concealer that is creaseless, or I put an eyeshadow base. So my favourite ones at the moment, and my favourite type of concealer that I like to use on my lids, if I can find it, where's my concealer? Oh, there it is. So my favourite eye base is the P. Louise eye base. It's so nice, and she has various shades now. This is the one when she first came out with it. It was one shade, so it's quite light for me. But when I do my artistic looks, it's actually it kind of works. But if you want something for every day, there are normally there are other shades, and I would probably go for like a 3 or 4. I think I was going to buy 4. And then I also like to use my Tarte Shape Tape. Obviously, I've used that today as my eye base. This is in the shade Tan Sand. And you can also use the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define ones, which are a dupe for that. And they're so much more affordable. They work just as good. So yeah, those are my eye primers that I really like to use. And then I make sure to set it with powder. Sometimes I don't even set it with powder, because it's this new kind of like thing that P. Louise actually like has made a trend. But it kind of works like, once you put eyeshadow onto the concealer straight away, it just pops more. So if you want to facilitate your blending, definitely set your base. If you want to like really experiment, then try not setting it, and you'll see like your eyeshadows will pop even more. But today I have set it with a bit of powder. I'm just going to tell you guys what I do if I were to go to the cinema or go to a shop. Not to a shop, come on now, Anushka, no. If I just go out for a normal day out, you know. The first thing I always do is grab a transition shade. So this kind of transition shade can be anything that is kind of just slightly darker than your skin tones. This is the Old Huda Beauty palette, and I would use these 2 shades as my transition colours. But for today's video, I'm going to go in with, actually I'm just going to mix these 2. So just before I go on to blending, I just wanted to say something quickly about brushes. Most of my brushes come from Amazon, like Tonsi sets or doe color sets, which I use a lot. Like for example, these brushes are from the doe color sets. They're really good. But then I have a ton from the Mange collection. The pink ones that I always use are always Tonsi ones. If you always see me use these pink candled ones, they're Tonsi brushes from Amazon. They're so affordable and they just do the job. If I have a specific brush that I really like, I will mention it, but most of my brushes are Amazon brushes, and I'm just mostly going to talk about the shape of the brushes rather than brands. But if I do have one where I really like pick for certain things, then I will let you guys know. For my transition shade, I really like to use brushes that are shaped like this, and you can tell they have the same kind of shape. These really fluffy, flared out brushes. These 2 are the ones that I really like. So this one is actually a Morphe brush. This one is the M504, and it's the best thing ever to blend out your transition. Like if you want a nice blending brush, definitely get this one. This one is from the Mange set. So again, if I can find it, I'll try and link it. But I got this ages ago, but it's kind of got the similar shape. And this one's from my doe color set. So yeah, I really pack it on, because I know these eyeshadows don't like fall out necessarily. And also, if you are going to use eyeshadows that fall out, or if you're just, anyways, if you're a beginner, try to do this before you do your base. But I've obviously done it already for this video. But normally I do my eyes first. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it right in the corner there, just buffing this into the outer third section and slightly bringing it into the crease. And I'm barely touching the skin, like it's barely touching the skin, so you really want it to like blend nicely. I see a lot of people go like like really hard. Like you don't want to do that. Just use very light motions. I'm holding the brush like at the tip so you don't have much pressure, and yeah, just blend like this. Kind of use less pressure as you move out and towards the top bit of your eyelid, and use the most pressure, like just a little bit more pressure towards the lash line, and you can build it up to your liking. This is kind of like my go-to eyeshadow look at the moment if I'm just going out quickly. So can you see how that's a beautiful transition? So mostly on the outer corner and slightly into the crease, and the crease is underneath that brow bone. Like you'll feel it, like it's just like where your crease is, you can stick your nail under that bone. That's where you want to place the shadow. Now what I like to do is just deepen that section here, like just smoke out this little section in here without bringing it too high or covering this first color we used. So if like let's say I'm going to use the Huda Beauty palette as a reference, because it is one of the palettes I go for a lot, I use this shade here, which I believe is Cocoa. So anything that's a warm, rich brown, I love to use this. So use the type of shade according to your skin tone. So right now let's say I'm using 2 shades light, 2 shades darker in terms of color for my crease, my transition color, which is the first color. And then I would go maybe like 3 to 4 shades darker for this outer section color. So yeah, I would go for Cocoa. And then in terms of brushes, I kind of go smaller and more dense. So here's just 3 examples of brushes I would use. So this one's from the NYX brushes. NYX brush is actually really good. And this is more of a tapered one from, I don't know what set this is, to be honest. I think this is the Glam Doll brushes, and it's like tapered but like kind of long, but it still works. And this is again a Tonsi brush, and it's just super fluffy but more dense basically and smaller. So I think today I'm gonna go for this Glam Doll brush. This is the 318 brush, but to be honest, just use any brush you feel comfortable with. You don't have to use any specific brush for any like this specific thing. Obviously there are brushes that are really good for certain things, which I will mention if I do have any. But in terms of, I think the shape is important. But again, like everyone's shape, I realize even when I watch other bloggers, they use different shapes to what I use for the same purposes. So it really depends on the person. So I'm going to grab that shade Cocoa and blend that into the outer corner area. So just here. So I pack it on first, so I just press on it. And I slightly blend it by using much lighter pressure. And just kind of like blending it into that first colour, but not necessarily going on top of it. And I'm bringing slightly underneath here as well into the crease. You can do this, sometimes I just keep it on the outer corner, but you can bring it into the crease if you want to. You can then go with your first brush and blend out the edges. I do also like to take a clean brush, and I always do mention this, to kind of just clean out the edges and make sure that everything is nicely blended. So now you can go on to your lid colour, which is the last thing I do, to be honest, and then I kind of tidy up afterwards. So for your lid colour, you want to go usually lighter than what you have on the crease, and I feel like it gives it more effect. For the lid colour, I like to use any kind of flat synthetic brush. Synthetic fibres are ones that are not like goat hairs or ponytail hairs and stuff like that. For example, this brush is not synthetic, it's made out of goat hairs, like fluffier bristles, whilst it feels more kind of like plasticky, if that makes sense. I'm going to go in with the shade Angelic, which is a kind of pinky gold shade. I remember I wore this exact look for my birthday last year, and every time I look back at the photos I really love the makeup look. So anyways, I'm just going to pop this. I usually wet this colour, so I've just wet it. It's super intense, so if you want like more intensity with your lid colour, just wet it. It really does work. What I'm doing is I'm just putting it under, again, that bone bit. And as soon as I get close to the darker colours, I just start patting and blending it into the darker shade. Because you don't want just one line. Sometimes I even take my finger and kind of sweep just on that section, just to blend the two. And I also like to take my finger, because eyeshadows apply so much better with your finger, especially like shimmery shade. Just to intensify that, just use my finger. So that's usually what I would do. Like, isn't that just so effortless, so pretty? And it's not that hard, to be honest, in my opinion. And then finally, I like to go with like a long, flat, fluffy, kind of fluffy brush for my lower lash line. I'm going to first take the transition shade that we use and blend that underneath, very close to the lash line. I just blend this roughly, like there's no rule to this, I just blend it underneath there. There's no like specific rule on this. I try to avoid the inner corner area and mostly concentrate on the outer corner. And then I like to take an even smaller brush. You can take something like this. This is green because it's been stained by previous eyeshadows, like bright eyeshadows. But I take something small like this. And this is from like a doe color set. I'm going to take the shade Cocoa, which was a dark outer corner shade. And I'm going to go even closer to the lash line. I'm just going to pop some mascara. And there you go, that's the finished look. And what I like to do at the end is go with a very light champagne-y, goldy, shimmery colour, such as, for example, this one. So what I like to do is take this shade here with this brush. This is a MAC 233 brush. It has synthetic fibres on one side and then the actual bristles on one side. And what I like to do is take the actual bristle side and then blend this onto my brow bone, like so. And then I take the synthetic side and then just pop that in the corner, just for like an inner corner highlight. Again, you can wet it for a bit more intensity, which I'm doing right now. See? Alright guys, so that's the finished tutorial. I hope you will find it helpful. Please give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends that you think might benefit from this video. And if there are any like step-by-step kind of videos you want me to do for beginners, let me know as well. And yeah, I love you guys so much and I will see you in my next one. Bye!